There are a few words that I would like for you to bear in mind as you navigate your financial journey. And one of those words is cash flow. Every individual needs to know what a cash flow is. Cash flow basically speaks to the flow of cash. Cash flow is the movement of money in and out of your entity, individual's bank account, your business account, whatever it is that you possess, where cash is used to transact or to keep things afloat. So, if you have a positive cash flow, it indicates that you have more money coming in than you have going out, while a negative cash flow would indicate that you have more money going out than you have coming in. And we don't want you to be in a state where you have a negative cash flow, because when you have a you're strapped for cash, or you have a tight cash flow, just breaking even, then there is where the predators take charge and come in to sweep you off your feet, giving you all these loan facilities to hold you shackled. So, what you must first do is to try to understand your cash flow situation. In order to determine your cash flow situation, what you have to do as an individual is to understand where are you getting your cash from. So if you have a job that there presents cash flow, if you have other activity that generates income or revenue, that there is cash flow. So if what the modern people call it is like side hustles, if you have those can be considered a cash flow. If you have a business, that is even a better way to structure cash flow, because that there is somewhat more predictable. If you have investments that you receive dividends or you receive interest payments on, that there also presents cash flow. So understanding where all the cash is coming from, if you have a rental income, that there is also cash flow. And then, after you have determined what your inflows are, you need to determine what your outflows entail, whether that be the expenses for the rental properties, your daily upkeep, the money that is necessary to pay employers, your employees as the employer. That there will give you an idea as to how you need to position yourself so that you can have a positive cash flow payroll. That's very important to consider, especially when you are running a business. So these are just some of the things and the ideas that I want you to consider. I want you to take charge of your financial position. I want you to run your house as a business, because your home is actually a business. It is your business. As we navigate this cash flow concept, I want you to think about it. Cash should always be flowing. Cash should never remain constant or stagnant. So if you had $10 yesterday, you don't want to have $10 today. You want to have $10 plus a couple cents at least, to show that your cash is increasing, because we believe in the principle of multiplication. When cash becomes stagnant, what happens is inflation. It means that the money that you have cannot produce or provide for you the same thing that it could yesterday, because the cost of goods keep going up, so that there is devaluing the money that you have. So if you had $10 yesterday and you have $10 today, the $10 that you have today is less than the $10 that you had yesterday. So cash should always be flowing, and the more free flowing your cash is, the better it is for you, because having money is one thing, but keeping the money is another thing. Getting the money, many persons can do that. Keeping the money, having accountability to the money, that is where many persons find themselves in an challenge, in a ditch, in a difficult situation. So think about this. There are two types of cash flow. We have the operating cash flow, and this basically refers to the cash flow that is generated from the day to day operation of your business, which includes the sales of goods or services, or when you think about your household, because your household is your business, I want you to think about it, daily operation, how much it costs for your breakfast, how much it costs for your lunch, your dinner, how much it costs for your ability to be in the space, your rent, whatever, if it's your mortgage payment, whatever that costs, your utility, all of those things are for the daily operation of your household. So those have to be taken into your heating, your plumbing, your electric, all those things have to be taken into consideration, so that there is cash flow from operating expenses. And the good thing is that your home can become a business, in that if you are utilizing the extra space that you have in generating income, maybe putting it on the rental market, having short-term stays, short-term rentals, and all those kind of stuff, that there can generate revenue and inflows for that operation. All right. I know that many persons may be adverse. They want to have their homes a sacred space, but you have to weigh the balance and see if your home should just remain strictly a sacred space, and then you have no money to buy food, to do the necessary things that you need to do in order to maintain the lifestyle that you currently possess. Then, another type of cash flow that we want to talk about is the investing cash flow. And this refers to the cash that is generated from the sales of long term assets such as properties or equipment. And when we talk about properties or equipment, we're talking about when you have your home, you have properties or land, or you have equipment. If you have a farm, you're from a farming community, you have farming supply, farming equipment, you may have vehicles, taxis that you had on the road. So all those things are considered equipment. If you're a mechanic, you have your tool set. So when you sell those can be a form of cash flow for you. So when you're not using those tools anymore, or you have advanced your methodology in how you operate, then there you can dispose of those and generate some cash. Other long-term assets we're talking about, like your stocks, your bonds, especially for an individual entity, your mutual funds. When you dispose of those or give them to someone else, or you put them back on the market, then you will reap the return on that investment. So those are long-term sales, and usually long-term on these markets are usually classified as 1 year and 1 day. All right, so just bear that in mind. So it is important for us to monitor the cash flow, because it affects how the business operate, which is your business, or your individual ability to pay your bills, make investment, and achieve your financial goal. So whether you want to think about the short term or the long term, you have to have system and measures in place so that you can meet those goals and objective. When you are running your business, you always want to have inflows, you always want to have income coming in, and you want to have cash going out, but you want to control the amount of cash that is going out, and you want to stop leakage and slippage from taking place. A business with a positive operating cash flow is generally considered to be healthy. So a business with a negative operating cash flow is generally considered to be in a financial bind. When you have your household and you're making, say you make $100,000, and your expenses, that's the income coming in from all the sources that you have, and your expenses is $150,000, there means that you have a negative cash flow, because you have more money going out that you have coming in. So you have 100, and then you are going to minus the income, the revenue, from the expenses, which would be the 150, and then we see we have minus 50, and that minus 50 indicates that we have a problem. So that minus 50,000 indicates that there is a challenge, there is mismanagement taking place. And if you are in this position, the first thing that I would advise you to do is to assess where you are, put all your income, all your expenses, and see where your money is going. Once you can identify where your money is going, then you can plug the leaks. But most persons don't want to take accountability for their money. And if you're not willing to take accountability for your money, then you cannot complain to anybody about your money problem. Because your money problem is not their money problem, it's your problem and it's your business. So you have to get ahead of this business so that you can safeguard yourself, your family, your relatives, and all those who depend upon you. Because when you are not exercising your fiduciary duty in monitoring, maintaining, multiplying the resources that God has gifted unto you, then that put others at a disadvantage who should be blessed by you. So I want you to bear that in mind, that your purpose is greater than just being a selfish individual, because your blessings will be moving out to other persons. So the more you amass, the more you can share, the more you can help other persons to get their feet on the ground. And I am sure that that is something that you desire to do. So uh, there are various ways that people can increase their cash flow. So when we think about increasing your cash flow, many persons may think about getting another another job for an individual purpose. But let us think about it. The quantity of time sometimes is less valuable than the quality of time. So getting another job, say you work at $10 per hour and you get another job that pays you $10 or $9 per hour. Uh, Working 20 hours per week is not as beneficial to you as an individual. So what you should try to do is to upskill, so that instead of just making $10 per hour, you can now position yourself to make $20 per hour, and even working half that time with only one job, then guess what? You are still in a better position. I know that we always say that one source of income is too close to zero, and that is true. But we don't want you to have multiple jobs. We want you to have your hands in multiple things, yes, but we don't want you to be jack of all trades, master of none. What we want you to do, you can have your W 2 job, your regular 9 to 5 job, but you can also have other sources of income coming in. Do not despise your 9 to 5, because this is basically the foundation on which many persons are given experiences and have an appreciation to understand how the real world works. So do not despise the 9 to 5. You can have your 9 to 5, which is one source of income, and then you can have your business, which you work on after you have completed your 9 to 5. You can have other investment opportunities that you use based on the resources that you have. But in order to be able to balance all of this, you have to structure your life in such a way that it meets your desires and your financial objective. So that is why it is important that each person has to sit down and reason with themselves to know what their financial objectives are. Because what I desire may not be what you desire. And as such, you have to position yourself so that you can get the desires that you could receive. So, in thinking about this positions us to move to the next phase of increasing our income. If we can get a better job, then move forward to that. If you can offer more, if you're a sales rep, then you sell more, or you sell more high value items. What you can do in some instances, especially in the starting phase, is reduce your expenses. All the unnecessary things that you have, get rid of them so that you can generate some cash. And all the things that you are subscribed to that you don't use, or it doesn't value or merit the amount you're paying for subscription, you can get rid of those as well. And what you're going to have to do is to manage your inventory levels. So things that you have that are going down, things that you have that are too much, you manage those inventory, you balance out everything, so you're basically restabilizing your position. But in order to do all of this, you have to know your numbers. It's important to regularly review and analyze your cash flow to ensure that not only your business but your individual resources has met its financial obligation to achieve their financial goals. The reason for us to live and exist in this world is to share in the resources that God has gifted to us. And in sharing in those resources, we have to ensure that our cash is moving. And once the cash is moving, we can have cash flow. But we want the cash to be moving in a positive direction so that we can say, yes, this is positive cash flow. Now that we have covered cash flow, it's time for us to go to COC, cash on cash return.